Well, now we're talking GAA. With the championships getting into full swing this weekend, the Dublin football team is hoping to make its own piece of history by winning 3 All-Ireland titles in a row. And today we're going to reflect on another important period for the sport in the capital. In the 70s, a team managed by Kevin Heffernan took Irish sport by storm and in the process managed to push Gaelic games from the fringes to the centre of Irish cultural life. Now, if you go along to the Little Museum of Dublin at the moment, there is an exhibition. It's called Heffo's Army Exhibition, and it really does tell the story of a very important period in GAA history. Darren Frehill reports.
The display at the Little Museum of Dublin celebrates a golden age for Gaelic football in the capital. Before the glory days, the Dublin team had slipped into serious decline, but things were about to change.
Dublin, at the beginning of the 1970s, was a city and county in the midst of a rapid transition. It undergoes a rapid population growth, up above 1 million by the beginning of the 1980s for the first time. And the city is also bearing the fruits of greater economic expansion. You see it manifest in the growth of a youth culture. Punks appear on the street in Dublin for the very first time in the mid-1970s. They're not rushed into adult lives of work and responsibility in the same way they had been in the early 1960s or 50s.
The city was changing rapidly, and the GAA was meeting the challenge head-on.
Look at all these clubs that are formed in the 1960s. On the north side, St Monica's at Edenmore in 1967. On the south side of the city, likes of Ballybowden, St Enda's, Crokes. And these are not just new clubs, they're new types of clubs, in the sense that some of these clubs are providing Gaelic games, yes, but they're also developing facilities to provide for a whole range of social and recreational amenities.
At this stage, the expanding population had little or no love for the Dublin football team, but Kevin Heffernan was about to change all of that. He grew up in Marino, in North Dublin. He was sport mad, and it was no surprise that he went on to play for his county. He would become one of the best players of his generation.
Across to Kevin Heffernan. Heffernan turns and shoots, and Dublin are 2 points ahead.
Heffernan was a star player not only of his generation but of any generation. Of course, that's recognised in the fact that he was named in the GAA's Team of the Century and subsequently the GAA's Team of the Millennium. The archive footage of the 1958 All-Ireland final, the one thing that strikes you is Kevin Heffernan at the start of it. What was he doing attacking the Bishop when the ball was thrown in? It does reveal a competitive spirit to it.
Kevin Heffernan was confirmed Dublin manager in 1973. His appointment would kickstart a remarkable return to form.
And he saved it! He saved it! Oh, Paddy Cullen!
The Dubs were champions within a year of his appointment.
Well, the presentation has been made, and there is the cup, the Slam Maguire.
Heffernan had a clear vision of how he wanted his team to play, and he looked to people of character to carry out his instructions on the field. His philosophy was simple: be the best you could be in sport as in life.
A journey of epic proportions in terms of 6 All-Ireland finals in a row, won 3 of them, 6 National League finals in a row, won 3 of those as well.
This is Brian Mullins, and it's another goal! Another goal for Dublin! Dublin are All-Ireland champions of 1976.
The reaction then of the spectators and the Dublin supporters in general was just phenomenal in terms of engagement and in terms of getting a sense that you were belonged to something that was much, much bigger than yourself.
Jimmy Keefe, a goal! Oh, what a goal! What a goal by Jimmy Keefe!
It was all for one and one for all between ourselves as players in the squad, but also with the community that we were representing. He was excellent on understanding all the ingredients that were required for individuals to add to the collective and how to get the best out of people. He was very, very good at that.
Only you Kevin Heffernan married his childhood sweetheart Mary in 1955. She says it was love at first sight.
Once I saw him, I was never interested in anybody else, really. People think that I went for fame and all that. I just met him as a person and he was lovely. I just saw he had beautiful blue eyes and he was nice height and good sense of humour. Just everything, basically. And he didn't drink. And none of the fellows drank on that day, but he smoked his head off. Even in those days now, I will admit. He smoked.
Early in the relationship, Mary discovered that football would always come first, even when it came to their honeymoon in Jersey.
We had to come back, I think, on the Friday from Paris to be back for the Sunday for the match.
That became the story of your life then, Mary?
Yes, exactly. Plus ça change. That's all I can say. I think I took all those things in my stride, basically. Football came first in our house. And luckily, I was as involved mentally as Kevin was. You know, I never resented training or anything like that.
John McCarthy, Brian Mullins, and a point for Dublin by Brian Mullins. Well, the Jacks are back all right, and the way they're playing right now, the Galway backs are jacked. And the crowd getting ready to invade the pitch here.
I didn't like now some of the couriers coming in off the hill and things. I can remember Kevin going down and sort of interfering and sending them back. I didn't like that element. I was a dub, but I wasn't a dub, if you know what I mean. They laugh. I'm not really a dub at all.
Heffo won 3 All-Ireland titles as a manager, but 1974 always had a special place in his heart.
He's blown the whistle and the game is
over. How important was it for him to win?
Very important, yeah. He's like a devil if he didn't, yeah. And particularly Kerry, as you know. And he really wanted to beat Kerry. He definitely. But some of his best friends were in Kerry and he loved to go to Kerry on holidays. He loved going out on the streets and Tralee and everywhere like that and talking football. That was his life now. Like, Kevin wasn't a pub man or anything like that, but he just loved football, true and true.
His club, St. Vincent's, was his other big love, and he continued to coach football and hurling until just before he died at the age of 83 in 2013. His influence can still be felt at the club today.
My memory of it is that Dublin football has always been kind of in rude health, and that's in no small part due to Kevin. And we hundreds of people around Vincent's who have been through his hands as a player. It didn't matter to him whether you were a senior footballer, a junior footballer, or an under-15 hurler, provided you were interested in, I suppose, his pursuit of excellence. I mean, he was ruthless in his pursuit of excellence, and in fairness, expected the same of his players, whatever level they were playing at, because I think he believed that if you had an ability, and whatever the level of that ability was, you should achieve that ability and not stop short or drop short.
Kevin Heffernan will hold a special place in history. His success remains the benchmark for the players of today. While the current Dublin side may surpass the achievements of Heffernan and his team on the field, it's unlikely any will surpass the impact made off it.
Well, with the championships getting underway this weekend, we would like to wish all of the counties the very best of luck, especially the Dubs. That exhibition on Heffo's Army continues in the Little Museum in Dublin until the end of the month. We're going to take a break now, and when we come back we'll be heading to County Kilkenny to hear about a pretty unique festival. We'll talk to you again in a couple of minutes.